Investigate. 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 So, let's talk about the verb investigate. As a language teacher, I'd like to explain that it is a transitive verb, which means it takes an object. In common usage, investigate typically means to look into something carefully and thoroughly in order to understand or uncover facts, often for official or professional purposes. For example, a detective might investigate a crime scene, or a journalist might investigate a news story. It's also used in more general contexts, like investigating the cause of an accident or looking into complaints about a company. One special note is that investigate can sometimes be confused with inquire. But while both verbs mean to ask questions or look into something, investigate often implies a more formal and detailed examination than inquire. In a formal setting, such as a police investigation, you might use the sentence, "The detective was tasked with investigating the suspicious circumstances surrounding the theft." This implies a sense of gravity and importance, where the truth needs to be uncovered. In casual conversations among friends, someone might say, "I've been trying to investigate why my phone's battery is draining so quickly." All of a sudden, here, the tone is more relaxed and personal, where the goal is to figure out a mystery or issue that affects daily life. In business or academic contexts, you could use the sentence, "The research team will be investigating the effectiveness of new marketing strategies on social media platforms." This implies a sense of scientific inquiry and rigor, where data needs to be collected and analyzed to draw conclusions. So you want to know about this thing called investigate? Well, essentially it means to look into something thoroughly and carefully in order to find out more information or get to the bottom of a situation. It's like being a detective, trying to figure out what happened or why something is the way it is. To investigate, you'd need to gather facts and details, ask questions, and maybe even talk to people who might know something. The main goal is to learn more and understand the truth. So it's not just about guessing or assuming, but really trying to find out what's real. You can also think of it like researching or looking into something deeply. And in many cases, it involves asking questions and seeking answers. Job. 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 The word job can be quite versatile. As a noun, it refers to an activity or task that someone is paid to do, often on a regular basis. In common usage, people might say things like, "I'm looking for a new job," or, "What's your job tomorrow?" It can also refer to the work itself, as in, "My job is to finish this report by Friday." Interestingly, when used as an adjective, job-related means connected to one's work or career, and phrases like on-the-job training are often used to describe learning experiences that take place during actual work situations. A special note about its usage: be careful not to confuse the noun job with the verb job, which is a different form altogether, but I'd be happy to explain the difference if you're interested. In formal usage, such as in an official job interview, someone might say, "I am confident that my skills and experience make me an ideal candidate for this position, and I am eager to contribute to the success of your company." This sentence shows how the word job can be used in a professional context. In casual conversation with a friend who's looking for work, you might say, "Hey, have you applied for that job opening at the new coffee shop downtown? I heard they're hiring baristas." Here, the word job is used informally and in a social setting. In business or academic usage, Like in a report about employment rates. Someone might write, the recent economic downturn has resulted in an increase of available jobs in the service sector, with many businesses looking to hire temporary staff to meet demand. This example demonstrates how the word job can be used in more formal and analytical contexts. So, you know how people need something to do in order to earn money and have a sense of purpose? Well, I'm talking about that thing that involves doing tasks or activities that are usually connected with a company or organization in exchange for payment. The main characteristics of this thing are that it's often regular, like a set schedule, and it's meant to be done on a daily or weekly basis. It can also involve working with others as part of a team, using specific skills or tools, and following certain rules or guidelines. If you're looking for other words that mean the same thing, you might think of phrases like working for a company or professional activities. The idea is that this thing helps people get paid, build experience, and maybe even gain new skills or knowledge, all while contributing to the goals and success of whatever organization they're working with. Label. 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 So, let's talk about the word label. As a noun, it can refer to a small piece of paper or fabric attached to an object to identify it, like a price tag on a shirt. But in modern usage, we often use label to describe a category or identity that someone or something is assigned to, like a label for being a morning person or a label for a particular type of music. This can sometimes have connotations of being limited or defined by what others think, rather than what you are. But overall, it's a very common and useful term in everyday language. It's worth noting that label can also imply a sense of attachment or allegiance to something, like being labeled as a fan of a particular sports team. In a formal context, such as a university lecture hall, you might say, I'd like to label this diagram clearly so it's easy for everyone in the class to understand. Here, using the word label is a straightforward way to indicate that you're going to add a descriptive tag or title to something. On the other hand, in a casual conversation with a friend over coffee, you might say, I just got the new iPhone and I'm trying to figure out why it's called iPhone 13 Pro. Can you help me label all these new features? Here, using the word label is a relaxed way to ask someone to clarify or identify something. In a business setting, such as a meeting between colleagues, you might say, before we send this product design out for feedback, let's make sure we have accurate and consistent labels across all materials. In this case, using the word label implies a level of precision and professionalism that's suitable for a work context. So you want to know about that word that helps us classify or categorize things, right? A key characteristic is that it's often attached to something else, like an object or an idea, and it gives more context or information about what it is. Think of it like a tag or a badge. It helps people understand the nature or purpose of something. It's similar to concepts like name or title, because they all help identify what something is or represents. In terms of how it's used, you'll often see this word attached to things like categories in a store, types of food or music, or even job titles. It helps us quickly understand what we're looking at and makes it easier to organize our thoughts or surroundings.